you are a problem solver. And the reason I was excited to really kind of dive into this episode and talk specifically about relationships and men's mental health and sometimes our generalized lack of ability to cue into our emotions and that kind of stuff is because you have come up with something to help solve this problem. And is a big announcement for the Laugh or Death podcast, because we have our first and our founding sponsor, Caveman to Casanova, which is an awesome app. I'm going to have Erin tell you about it, but this is the official mental health partner of the Laugh or Death podcast. So tell us about this solution that you've come up with for our problem.
Yes, absolutely. So after doing couples counseling for 10 years, I got together with one of my friends who's a male couples counselor, and we're just like, how are we going to fix this problem? Well, men aren't going to magically become more emotionally attuned overnight, and women aren't going to stop talking to their girlfriends about what's going on. So what we need is a tool that allows instead of it being just focused on the full couple, and there's a lot of really good apps and programs and things out there to like enrich your closeness. And I think ours helps too. But really, this is an app for men backed by therapeutic science. It has a coach in the app that helps you kind of navigate. It's called Caveman to Casanova, not because we think men are cavemen. I will say that we've had a couple of men be like, I don't like the name. And I'm like, well, that's because you probably don't like the primal feelings you have that make you feel inadequate, right? But it's a point in time to a point in time where we're really trying to say, hey, let's take what you primally have in there about you. Let's get you some skills to get you from this point in time from being a caveman who's overly primal to this Casanova who's instructional, who like understands some of the depth. And we use some science. We use, there's evidence-based practice, which is when I learned from a research article. And then there's practice-based evidence, which is I learned it from doing it. So there's a lot of practice-based evidence. It's kind of crass. It's very humor driven. Like a lot of men don't want to come in and just be like, tell me about all of your feelings. They want to kind of ease into it a way that feels helpful for them. And so Caveman to Casanova is that solution. We do have a very cool AI coach in there that we call your wingman. And then there's also like this manual. So a lot of what happens with couples, and this is like really breaking it down, and we didn't talk about this yet, is that after they're together for a certain period of time, the woman is like, I want to share my manual with you about how I need to be loved, how I need to be nurtured, how this needs to work. But the man is like, I already know. Right? They think that they, like in the physical world, they think they know, but there's this evolution happening. And so what happens is the woman's like, I want to share. And he's like, no, I don't need to know that. I don't need to know that. And then she stops sharing and she keeps building this manual of like how to love, how to get laid, how to feel supported, what's her love language. And then she stops sharing it. So it leaves the man like, I just have to try all of these things. So a lot of breakdowns in relationships are men being like, give me the manual. And they're like, no, I don't want to give you the manual. You hurt me when I offered it to you last time. And they're like, give me the manual. I want to do the manual. And they're like, no, I don't want to. And so it's this game where what we've done in Caveman and Casanova is we've given the manual to any man who wants the manual. It is in there via modules, via understanding. Like this is truly what a majority in one of these capacities the women wants. And so there's a women's cut, which is the other side of the app, but men are completely in charge. They get to go through this app the way they want to, the way that their brain works, the way they connect. It gives you date night generators. It gives you reflective opportunities to learn about what is actually working with your specific wife. And you can also invite them in to say, hey, I want you to read this thing I wrote. Or you can send them a message and be like, what do you think about these date night ideas? So that you don't have to feel like you're just kind of, taking a shot in the dark. And so we have really tried to problem solve all of the problems that most men have coming into couples therapy by putting it into an app that they could spend less than 5 minutes a day working through. And you want to know the best part? Because I got to sound like a good salesperson, is that it's
What is it, Erin?
It's only $100 for a whole year. And a therapy session is $150 a session.
Dang. Wow.
So truly, it's $10 a month. It's $100 for a whole year. The whole goal of Pash Company and the things that we're trying to build is make it accessible. not only affordability wise, but make it something that people will actually use, where it's kind of like risk-free to try. Like paying $100, a lot of people would go on a wait list for 8 weeks to get into the couples therapist to then realize that that was a waste of time and money.
Yeah.
Catch the full story on the Laugh or Death podcast, available now.